Hello, my friends. Can you hear me? Hello. Oh no, why is it echoing? Hi, guys. Sorry it took me so long. Can you hear me? Yay. Thank you, Lisa Marie. Do I sound okay? Does this sound good? I really can't test it on this end. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so sorry that I'm late. I was fighting with ChatGPT because ChatGPT told me that I could create an intro and show it on YouTube Live. And so I was trying to figure out how to do that because I couldn't get my other studio thing to work and link up to my YouTube. So I was trying to get it to stream this really cute intro that I spent a huge chunk of my afternoon making, and it didn't work. And then I tried to start it, and it didn't have the button that ChatGPT told me it would have. And I was like, "You told me there would be a button." And he said, "Oh, you're right. There is not, you can't actually do that." And I was like, "Well, this is where technology has failed me today." So there we go. But I'm here now. I'm not too terribly late. So thank you guys for sticking around and hanging in there with me. I did make a cute little a cute little printout so you didn't have to just look at my plain table while I was getting everything together. Alrighty. So, how is everybody? Who do we have? We have John. Thank you so much, John, for coming. Lisa Marie. My Auntie Angie is here and Artfully Becoming. It looks like you're here as well. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Well, without further ado, let's I've been waiting to open open this package since I got it several days ago. I'm so excited. I'm planning on opening these up. Oh, first I should tell you what I'm getting. These are the the name is so fun. I love saying it. The Ohuhu alcohol ink markers. It's a 48 count set. They call it the Honolulu B. And I don't know why if they call it B because one side they're dual nib, so one side is like a point and one side is a brush. So that might be why they call it Honolulu Bee. I have no idea though. Um, I have been wanting to buy these for a while, but I don't use a lot of alcohol ink markers just to make I make little notes and little doodles for my husband. So I use them for that. But I decided to splurge. I think it was Prime Day recently. So I decided to splurge and buy them and unbox them. So here we go. Ooh, how exciting. Does everybody else love opening packages? I mean, I don't love spending the money, but I love opening the packages. Give that to my dog. All right. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, it's so cute. All right. Here, Bubs, you can have the box. So, nicely packaged with all kinds of, yeah, Honolulu Bee. Ohuhu. Ohuhu is such a, I could say that name all day. I love the first thing that I love about these, and I've seen other artists with them, is the little bag. I love that because I I have a bunch of sets of pens and I have them hanging around in these solo cups. So anything that comes in a case is great. Oh yeah, you're right. Lisa Marie, technology is so great until it's not, and then it sucks hardcore. Oh, enjoy cooking artfully. I love to cook. I hope you're eating something delicious. All right, so this has a nice zip. It's a nice sturdy bag. I love the little chameleon. And then it shows you right there that you've got the brush. I don't know if you can see there. It shows you it's a brush and fine. I love this. This is a great little package. And then the back just gives you some more info about what you're working with. And I read in the description that they are refillable, which is really, really fun. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Ah, dun, dun, dun. I feel like I should have some kind of music. Da, da. Look how pretty they are. Oh, I'm so excited. And it looks like there's some kind of, I hope there's a swatching card in here. If not, oh, there is a teeny tiny little swatching card, which honestly, I don't think I'm going to use these today as much as I'm going to swatch. I don't think I'm going to use the swatching cards because look how little they are. I'll use them privately myself, but I also bought the official Ohuhu marker pad. So I'm going to test these out on there. But they give you this whole little, what is this? If you are coloring on thin paper, please put this. Oh, that's clever. It's a little, they give you a little film so that if you're coloring on thin paper so that it doesn't bleed through onto your other paper, that's very handy because these bleed through quite a bit. Hello, Blessed Marie Plushie. Hi, thanks for joining. I just got started. I just pulled these out of the Amazon package. They are fresh and crisp and ready to go. So I'm just showing what came in the package. And I'm marveling over this little plastic sheet they give you. It's not really, I mean, it's some kind of plastic, but like so that you can put it underneath your work so that it doesn't bleed through onto your other books. Hi, Pania. Thank you for coming. So I love that. And then this looks like it's just going to make me want to buy other things. What do you think? Yep, about Ohuhu markers. They have it looks like they have a Hawaii theme. So all of their markers are like different islands or something like that. I'll have to look more at this later on, but they have all different types of markers with different tips. People swear by these because I think, and I don't really know a lot about alcohol ink markers, but I think people who use them compare these to Copics and that they're sort of on that level of quality. But these are refillable. They're a lot cheaper. Copics are really expensive, and I don't know if anybody in the comments has any, or in the chat, I mean, has any experience with Copics. Are these on par with those? I'm hoping these are going to be a lot better than this sort of cheaper packs that I've bought, but we'll see. So I'm not going to go through the whole book because that's just boring, but let's see what else is. Yeah, it just looks like it has a lot of information about about these brushes. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know how much I need all that information. I'm just going to play with them. All right. So here they are. I combined them with my Copics. There you go. Okay, yeah. So they're on par with that in quality, but they're a lot cheaper, right? I mean, I know I know at the craft store the Copics are behind lock and key because they're pricey and they're stealable. Okay, so rather than using whoever, for those of you that came late, they gave us this teeny tiny little swatching card. And rather than using that and trying to find each little appropriate box to fill in and be here all night, I'm going to open up this. It's like the official Ohuhu. I freaking love that name, Ohuhu. Um, marker pad, which I'm excited about to see how these actually work on there. I've had other markers. I have other markers, and I bought a marker pad once, and I swear not a single marker worked well on it. Alcohol, water-based, none of those freaking markers worked well on it. And I was like, what is this marker paper even good for? And I had gotten it out of a discount bin, and maybe that's why. Maybe that's why it was there. Sometimes the things are in the discount bin because they know good. And maybe that's why it was there. Okay, some more words, things to read later that are unimportant right now. I will look at that later on. I've got a nice little pile going. My dog has a pile of Amazon trash on the floor that he can experience right now. I don't know why I'm like slightly more nervous than I was in my last live. In my last live, I just jumped on. I was like, I'm going live. For my friends who are in the chat that go to Grandma Barb's chat, I was inspired by Barb and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to go on and draw. I'm not like super nervous, but like I feel a little bit more, there's a little bit more like, ooh, let me close this. Let me close this and put it away before we poke our eyes out and cut our fingies off. Did you get them on Amazon or art supply store? I got them on Amazon. They were like $10 off because I think there was recently a Prime Day. So I got them for a little bit less than you would normally get them. Thank you, Artfully. Let's see, I'm sorry, just catching up with the chat. Want to see if I missed anything else. Okay, so we have this awesome marker pad, and I have to take off my glasses to play with these because I'm at that age where my glasses work for some things, but not other things, and I don't do bifocals. So let's see. I think that's the first page. Here's this page. All right, let's start swatching these. Let me get a cup that I can put them in, or a bin that I can put them in when I'm done swatching so I don't re-swatch. We don't want to re-swatch. We don't want to make the good people sit here all night watching me swatch the same ones over and over again. So let's get a little basket. Gotta love a wireless mic, folks. Gotta love a wireless mic that lets me walk around a bit. I'm assuming you can still hear me well. One you got won't bleed through on both sides. The book I have won't bleed through. That's awesome. Awesome. Excited about that. Oh yeah. Okay. So let's start. 48 of these. This looks like it's the colorless blender. Colorless blender. So I'm just going to put this to the side. We'll see if we'll try some blending later. But does anybody want to see me start with a specific color? What first color that I see in the chat, I'll start with. Red. All right, Marie. We'll go with red. We'll go with. They have such great names. This one's called Morello Cherry. I'm just going to use the brush side. All right, let's see. Ooh. Oh, they're so nice. Yeah, they have a good pigment load. Oh, wow. Yeah, and the paper works really nicely. Oh, that's good to know. And they're refillable too, it says in the book. So let's check. Yep, it doesn't bleed through. Yay! I often use alcohol ink markers on Bristol board or Bristol paper, and it bleeds through, but I like the way the Bristol takes it. But I love this paper. This is working really well. All right, let's just keep going with our reds. Only 51 colors or so are refillable. Is that what you mean? This one is called Deep Blush. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's going to be good for making like rosy cheeks. Deep Blush. And Amaranth. Amaranth. That's an interesting. I'm trying to put all the reds together, but we'll see if I stay that organized, guys. We will see. I hope I can stay interesting as I do this. I want to not be too repetitive and boring here, but how is everybody's weekend? Oh, I didn't tell you the name of this one. Cerise. I think it's Cerise. Cerise. So I had a really good weekend, and I would love to hear about your weekend in the comments or in the chat. Sorry. I'm not used to doing live, so I forget to say the chat. I went to an aerial circus, which was really cool. All these people flipping around and on ribbons and strips of cloth and bars and really, really cool stuff. Prune juice was that one. Prune juice. Um, my husband is a tarot reader, so he was at doing a tarot reading event. Basically, he had a tent there at this circus, so we got in for free. And it was really fun. And I got a really cool tarot reading from someone else who wasn't my husband, and was really good. Says I'm on the right path to realizing my true calling. Deep vermilion, and that was awesome. And other than that, we had a few nice walks, or as I call them, walkies, which is going to make my dog perk up in a minute. He's going to be like, "Walkies? Did you say walkies? I like a walkies." Um, my husband has well, he took a 4-day weekend, so he had Saturday until he doesn't go back until Wednesday. So it's been nice and relaxing after the event. I love the way these feel. They feel really good too. Like they're a good size for your hand. There's a lot of thought went into these. This one is called Pansy. Wow, these are I'm gonna have so much fun with these. These are so juicy. I'm so glad I bought these. These are so much better than the ones I have. I bought a cheap set from Hobby Lobby, a cheap set from like Five Below, which I didn't expect much from. And they work, but I'm like, I know there's more. When you're using an art supply and you're just like, I know there's more to this. I know, yes, the master's touch, Marie. Yes. I'm like, I know there's more. If I use a better version of this tool, I will get better results. Kind of like when I started acrylic painting, which is my main medium. I usually paint in acrylic. I'm like, when I started out, I was like, okay, the cheaper paint is fine. And then I started realizing like, wow, the more expensive paint really, really just like you can't even compare to the quality. It's so lush, it's creamy, it goes further, but it breaks the bank a little bit. So let me catch up a bit with the chat because I did ask a question. Mine was good. In Canada, we had Thanksgiving holiday. Well, happy Thanksgiving to Canada. Do you guys do like the same kind of, well, not the same, but similar to American US Thanksgiving where you would have a lot of food? Is turkey a big thing for you guys? Um, or is it just like another day, or do you get together with family, or is it a big celebration? I'd love to hear about it. Marie says, I have 1.5 weeks off since it didn't put me on the schedule at work. I'm sorry to hear that, Marie. I mean, unless you're happy to have a week and a half off, which then, but you did do a sad face, so maybe not. I'll get prioritized just for that week, though. Okay, I see. Well, awesome. I'm glad to hear you guys are doing well. Yeah, I hear you. Who can? Who can go a week without getting paid? It's hard, but if I could, if you could just be home and be getting paid to do that, that's what I'm working towards. This one's called grape juice, and I'm loving these names, and they're making me hungry. Like Morello cherry grape juice, I kind of want to drink now. And I don't even drink juice, but somehow now I want juice. Oh, that looks exactly like grape juice. It's beautiful. Oh, that sounds delicious, Lisa. Um, Goodness, I didn't realize I was going to have such a hard time reading these. Rich raspberry. Rich raspberry. So I'm going to swatch all of these and try to do it as interestingly and quickly as I can. And then if you stay tuned till the end, I do have a drawing that I sketched out earlier that I'm going to color in with my new markers. Pink carnation. Ooh, I bet this is gonna be pretty. Yeah, that's a good one. One thing that with the sets that I have, the cheaper sets of alcohol ink markers that I was really lamenting is that I didn't have many light colors. Most of them were just very, very dark or very, just couldn't give me those lighter shades. And these have a lot more of those lighter shades, which I'm enjoying. Pastel pink. Ooh, that's a pretty one. They're all pretty. Hi, Emily. Thanks for jumping on. Yeah, they are so these are so fun. I'm having so much fun with these. I love them so much. I'm so happy that I I splurged and I can't wait to play with them more. Even if I just got like coloring books, bright lavender. Even if I just got coloring books and colored with them. Sometimes, I make art all the time and sometimes I just want to not have to think about it. It would be nice to just play with a coloring book sometime. It would be fun to do that with these. Now, does anybody in the chat know, do they make coloring books that are like specifically for alcohol ink markers? Because I know a lot of people use them for their coloring books, or are they just like bleeding through all over the place? Hi, Mason. Mason, do you like to go by Mason? I realize in Grandma's chat we all call you Mason, but you have an A in front there, so maybe there's another name you prefer. And I meant to ask you, but I figured I would wait until I could ask you in my own chat. This one is called grade lavender. Some do, but they're expensive. Yeah, I thought that that's usually the way, isn't it? Yes, I'm used to it. Okay, great. I'll stick with Mason. Ooh, grade lavender is exactly, I mean, I gotta say, so far, they're exactly they're named perfectly. They are named absolutely perfectly. Like that looks like grade lavender to me. If I was describing these to somebody else without reading the name, I would say that's a grade lavender. This is faded violet. Is it really called faded? Yeah. Well, here I just said that. I don't know that this looks so faded, but it does look violet. So it's sort of faded, I guess. It's a slightly less intense violet. I guess it would be a little bit deeper. Also, if it was a true violet. Also, alcohol ink markers are an interesting medium because they're very beautiful and very rich when you first put them down. But I've heard other artists who use them fairly exclusively say that they fade over time. So um, that can be a big deal for artists who are trying to make work that lasts, who are trying to sell original pieces. If you get a lot of fading, that's a big deal. But if you're making your alcohol ink paintings or drawings and then scanning them and just really selling prints, I guess it's not that big of a deal. This one is Deep Purple. Isn't that an old band? Wasn't there an old band named Deep Purple, like in the 70s? That is a Deep Purple. I'm sorry, I completely got quiet because I'm reading the chat. Alcohol markers aren't light fast at all. Yeah, no, alcohol markers are not light fast at all. All of my grandma's chat friends are saying hi to each other. Good, glad to see it. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. That one jumps off the page. Everything else must be a shallow. I know. I know. Everything else is a shallow color. Let's go into the blues. Why not? All right. Any blue, any blue. This one. This one is called Pool Blue. Pool Blue. Let's see. Does it look like a swimming pool? Oh, yeah. I'd say so. Yeah. That reminds me of a pool. I know what I'm using for water. This one's called Cotton Candy Blue. Ooh, let me know in the chat. Are you a cotton candy fan? I enjoyed it in my youth. And then I don't know, it was never my go-to. I was always a chocolate girl. I was always really into like cake and like chocolate candy. Um and like ice cream. So things like things like cotton candy, snow cones, they never really did it for me as like being a substantial treat, but they were fun. I mean, I enjoyed them, but I know people who are just crazy about cotton candy flavor, and that's just never been my thing. Yes, Emily, you guys in the chat, Emily is my sister, and we are definitely related because she said cotton candy is so inferior to chocolate, in my opinion, team cookies. And that is our genetics, folks. That is who we are as a people. Yes, Mason, that's what the best part of cotton candy is, that it's fluffy and then it melts. And watching it being made is really cool too. Like watching them pour the little granules of sugar and then watching it spin is really cool. And if you've ever been near a cotton candy machine, like at a fair, the guy making it or the person making it is usually covered in it. You usually get it in your hair. It's little strands of it float around and you can kind of taste it in the air. Cotton candy grapes have a spun sugar-like flavor. I've heard that. I haven't tried one, but I bet they're really tasty. Okay, this one is called Brilliant Blue. Oh, that's I'm trying to use the brush side because it just creates a better swatch faster. Brilliant Blue. That does look brilliant. Classic blue. Classic. Okay, I'm expecting just a traditional. Yeah, that's like a Crayola box blue right there. And sky blue. Opening the wrong side. I'm really enjoying the brush side for these. That sky blue is interesting. It's a, I think it's like a true sky blue, that is more what like the natural sky looks like. But typically when you get a sky blue in like a marker set or a pencil set, it's bluer. It's almost more like that blue. But this one is, I think, a little bit more truer to what a sky would look like, which I'm here for. Faded teal. I am a teal girl. I really love teal. Teal is one of my colors. I'm a magenta, teal, aqua green type of person. I love all colors, though. I love all colors. But there are colors that I gravitate towards, and they tend to be like bright blues, bright pinks, anything really bright. Okay. This one is turquoise. That's another one of my colors. Oh, I'm excited. These are my babies. Ooh, yeah, that's a very green turquoise. I like that. Sometimes turquoise leans more blue, but this one looks a little greener to me, and I like that. Sorry, catch. I have to get better at saying I'm catching up with the chat here. Cotton candy is a bit too sugary for me. Marie, the frozen grapes are really tasty. I am on a low carb diet right now, so I don't eat a lot of grapes or like sugary fruits. I'll do more berries occasionally, but I do a lot of frozen berries and they're super yummy. Like I'll just do them out of the freezer, just lightly defrosted and put some whipped cream on them and they're really nice. Hi, Kara. Kara is my other sister. She's my baby sister. Emily is the middle, and I'm the oldest. And here's Kara. Hi, baby. Thanks for coming. Look at my cool markers. All right, this is called aged pine green. And for those of you who might think it's wild that I call my sister baby, my sister Emily is 11 years younger than me, and my sister Kara is 15 years younger than me. So they were my babies. They were my little babies. I carried them around. I made bottles. I changed diapers. I taught people to walk and talk, and it was a good time. And now they are beautiful grown up ladies, and I'm so proud of them. This is dark emerald. You can see my perfectionism come out here a little bit, my AD not really my ADD, but my perfectionism, like, let's make that corners perfect on that one. And you get to hear my funny voices. For all my friends that hang out in grandma's chat, you get to see my written typing, but you don't get to hear me, and you don't get to hear how silly I sound and all the goofy ass little voices I do. All right, so that was dark emerald. This is just emerald green. I'm checking out the chat again. Moondrop gumdrop grapes, look them up. I bet they are. They're making fruit that tastes exactly like candy these days, and candy that tastes exactly like fruit. So we're going both ways with that. Are those markers non-toxic? My kiddos like to draw on my skin like it's tattoos. I believe they are. I printed out a list of like things. They're non-toxic. Yeah, it says right here non-toxic. So I don't know what that means. I would Google it. I would Google it and make sure that it's okay, because I would hate to tell you that it was okay and have you break out in a rash or have something horrible happen. But yeah, I mean, and on the listing on Amazon, it said they were non-toxic and like perfect for classrooms. Um, I just don't know how much your skin would take them because they're alcohol. I don't know. Let's try. Let's try here live, shall we? I don't usually have skin issues. Well, it blends if you write right away and rub it right away, it blends. Let's see what happens if I just draw a little bit and just leave it and let it dry. There we go. You saw it here live, folks. Okay, catching up with the chat real quick. Panya, are those markers non-toxic? I love ice cream cake. Ice cream cake is really good, Lisa. Love ice cream cake. I loved a good ice cream cake when it had a layer of regular cake in it. That's like my favorite kind of ice cream cake. Baskin Robbins, I think, used to make a cake like that. I got one for like my 13th birthday, I remember, and it had mint chocolate chip and it had little tiny mint chocolate chip cones decorating the top, like little teeny tiny cones. And I was so excited about them. I love miniature things and I loved that cake. But I also love a good ice cream cake that just has the crunchies in between and not like a layer of cake. Yep, ice cream. I have never really met an ice cream I didn't like, except that once I went to a garlic festival and they legitimately had garlic ice cream. And it was actually not the worst thing I'd ever tasted, but it was not something that you would ever crave. You wouldn't be like, "Oh god, I gotta get more of that garlic ice cream." I mean, maybe someone might, but I sure as heck didn't. I sure as heck didn't. Okay, ice cream. Haven't good had ice cream in years. Fasted in the past and would fantasize about cake, I bet. Yep, I bet. I'm on weight loss meds. Yep, I'm on my own weight loss journey, Marie, so it's hard it's hard to, navigate all of the things that we can and can't eat. I'm actually quite happy with, the low carb diet that I'm on, but I do miss things. I'll be honest with everybody here, I had some french fries this weekend. I don't regret it at all. I went to Five Guys and I had a burger with no bun, but I had some french fries and it was beautiful, but it's, something that I don't do very often these days, so I was really enjoying them. I really relished them. It was quite a sight. Okay, sorry. Trying to catch up with the chat, and then I will get back to swatching. Emerald so fancy, two shades. Kara, we're getting the good scoop on you sisters, love. Yep, those are my girlies. Thank you, Artfully, for reminding everybody to thumbs up. Wow, it says 14 people in here. That's amazing. I can't believe this. We might have some lurkers, and if we do, and you're just listening, welcome, welcome. I appreciate a good lurker. Did we talk about cotton candy grapes? Yes, Angie. Someone, I think it was Marie, was talking about cotton candy grapes because we were talking about cotton candy because I swatched a color that was called blue cotton candy, I think. Chili without cheese is sad. Give me all the cheese and sour cream. I know. I love cheese and sour cream. Yes, Pania, it blends well on skin too. Okay, so let's see. Now that it's been drying, so that was the first line that I blended with my finger right away when it was wet. Now that it dried, it's not moving. I licked my finger a little. Let's see. No, yeah, it would stay. It would stay. And I'll let you know later if I have any itchiness or weirdness. Okay, yes, Angie, we did. Cotton candy, french fries. You're making me hungry. Sorry, Angie. Don't mind me. I'm still listening, trying to get 6 miles in on a walk. Good for you, John. I only managed 2.5 today, but I can do some days I do 7 miles, and it's a good day for me when I do. Get those steps in, John. I prefer keto for me. Carnivore works amazing, but I'm not a huge meat lover all the time. Yeah, both are great. It's whatever works for you, you know. I'm not militant at all about any of this. I have strong beliefs about um, everybody doing what's right for them. This one is called Shamrock Green, and I would never presume to tell anybody what was right for them. I have strong beliefs about our food system and what I think isn't generally healthy for the population, but those are also just my beliefs and they don't need to be shared with everybody. Grass green. I feel like greens get a bad rap. A lot of people are just like, "Ooh, green. I don't want green," you know. But I like green. Greens are really beautiful. Maybe it's just being an artist, you look at colors differently, but I've seen people who aren't artists just have why would I want green? And I'm like, I don't know. Green can be very nice. Bud green. Oh, yes, that's a nice spring green right there. Yeah, that's a nice spring green. And my sister Emily says, "Who doesn't want green? Green slaps." I know. I forget who I was with once, and they edamame. This is called edamame. I love edamame. Um, and they were just like, "Oh, green. Why would I want green? Ugh." And I was just like, "Have you never seen a pretty green? Like grass is green. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? There's lots of pretty greens in the world." That looks like edamame. More like the actual bean itself, the soybean itself, than the inner part. Yeah, these markers are making me hungry. This one is called sour apple. I love green apples. I've always loved when I was younger and I ate more candy. I loved sour apple flavored things. This one is called glass green. I'm loving this paper too. I was worried because of my last experience with a marker pad, quote unquote marker pad, that maybe this one would be disappointing too, but I was like, I'm going to take a chance and buy the pad sold by the marker company and trust and have trust in my life that they are going to do the right thing and make a good pad that actually works with their product. But you never know, folks. You never really know. Hi, Erin. Thank you so much for coming. I'm so happy to see you. I know green is your favorite. Okay, this one is yellow green. I know green is your favorite, and I was about to mention that I do know somebody whose green is their favorite color. I know a few people were confused when I crocheted a little teddy bear with a hat for Erin because her favorite color is green, and some people were confused. Why would you make a green teddy bear? And I was like, because she likes it. That's why. That's why I'm doing it. This one is called Light Gold. Yep. I would say these are pretty spot on. Really pleased with the naming process here. Mustard. This one this one's called Banana Cream. Are we getting hungry yet? Is everybody ready for a snack? Oh wow, banana cream. Yes. I have a Copic called Mustard. I love mustard yellow. I really do. That's one another. I mean, again, I love so many colors. I could say that I love all of these colors, but mustard yellow is one of those that makes me go, "Ooh," when I see it. I'm looking at maybe doing a oh, I didn't say the name of this one. Dark Marigold. I'm looking at maybe starting a crochet project if I can find the time. I'm doing so many videos and paintings and trying to make a website and all of this other stuff that we'll see if I get the time, but I want to make myself a little cardigan. And I was looking at some yarn that was like a wasn't quite a mustard yellow. It was called Honey. And I was like, that's for me. Caramel. I'm gonna catch up with the chat real quick. I got a snack. I just got a snack. Good job, Angie. And Ohuhu called yeah, Ohuhu has the mustard as well. Angie, I couldn't take it anymore. Yeah, all of these are called delicious names. Caramel is coming soon. Care Bear Pretty Green was a nighttime sleepy bear in the 80s. Yes. Yes. I love Care Bears. Now draw something with all your markers. I will at the end of all of this, when I'm done swatching, I only have a few left. I'm going to color in a drawing I made earlier. Okay, let's try the caramel. Oh yeah. Yeah. I say that's caramel. It's a yellow ochre color. I wonder if they have a proper yellow ochre. Probably not. Potato brown. Ooh, that'll be good. I drew a little pug that was a potato, a pugtato, and I called him the pugtato of prosperity. And he's got a little container of chicken nuggets, and they're called his nuggets of wisdom. And he says, "Don't worry, there's enough for everybody." And that would be great if I draw him again. That potato color would be great. This one is called cedar brown. Getting into the fall colors here, all these browns and deep yellows. And this one is just straight up burnt sienna, which is not a delicious sounding name at all, but is a one that's familiar to me because I use burnt sienna in acrylic all the time. I like to see the layering. You can really sort of build up the intensity of the color if you go over it a few times. Cinnamon. Now, see, I think that looks a little light for a cinnamon, don't you think? And yet I can see where they're going with that, but that looks a little light to me for cinnamon. Just as somebody who likes to cook and uses cinnamon a lot, I feel like cinnamon actually looks more like this or like this than it looks like that. But I'll allow it. Looking at the chat, sorry. Crayola staple, cinnamon was left in the pantry too long. Cinnamon was left in the pantry way too long. That's some old ass cinnamon. Yep. Artfully, I agree too. I think the cinnamon should be a little darker if you're gonna call it cinnamon. I wonder what would we call that? It's more like a cinnamon toast color or something. Like if you sprinkled cinnamon on toast where it wasn't completely covered, the cinnamon toast crunch in a way. This one is called Salmon Orange. Salmon. I don't know why I said salmon. Salmon orange, which is also interesting. I think of that being a way more orange color. This is a very huh, I don't know, the cooked color of salmon actually when it's fully cooked. Yeah, that. Sure. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. All right, we're almost done with these swatches. We have, I think, 6 more here. We've got this bright, just straight up orange is what it's called. Straight up orange. Just orange. Yep. And actually, I'm going to need that orange for my drawing that I'm going to color in. I wonder if you guys can guess what I'm going to draw. It's something seasonal, like Halloweenish related. I don't know. How else could I hint at this? This is straight up black. How else could I hint at this drawing without giving it away? It's a treat that isn't really a treat for everybody. Not everybody loves it. And there's either people really love it or they really hate it. But it's really cute and it's everywhere. Icy gray. It's like ubiquitous and like kind of synonymous with Halloween, and yet not everybody loves it. Storm gray. Yes, Marie, you got it. Candy corn. I have a kawaii candy corn drawing that I'm going to color in and hopefully not screw it up. I don't make a lot of art when people can watch me, but I didn't screw up the last one in my last live, so let's not tempt fate here, shall we? What is this? Collingwood gray. Collingwood? Yeah, Collingwood gray. Ooh, I like that. That's a nice gray. That's what I've been lacking, is a nice light gray. Here's another one. Porcelain. It's interesting when you first put them down, they can look a little dark because they're still wet, and then they dry and they lighten up more and they look more like how they're actually going to look when everything's all done. And that's it. We're empty. So those are our swatches. I'm loving this set so much. Sorry, looking at the I keep looking at the chat and then I forget to tell you. Emily, you've never tried candy corn, like even one piece? Oh, really, Angie? Is it Layla's favorite? No screw ups, just happy accidents. Yep, I know. Emily, you have to try at least one once just to have like the experience and be like, hey, I tried it. Nope. It's a teeny tiny little piece of nothing. And then you can say you had it. Life experience, life experience. Okay. All right, here's my little drawing. And I know that you can't see it, but there's a very light pencil drawing here. And I have to choose my colors. So let me look at my swatch, actually, my swatches to see. Emily is notoriously a very picky eater, and she likes what she likes. And we got to respect it. So she's not going to try it. She's not going to try it. All right, let's see. These are going to be little candy corn. I don't know. I know you can't really see because it's very faint. Let's see if I hold it up. You can see. So I need the candy corn color. So I got to look at a picture of candy corn real quick. because I think it's dark orange on the bottom. No, it's yellow on the bottom, orange in the middle, white on the top. Some of them are brown on the bottom. Okay, cool. So we gotta, I think I'm just gonna let the white be the white of the paper, or maybe I'll do the porcelain for the white. Because once it started to, there's this thing, sorry, there's this thing with art where like you don't really just want to use plain white or just leave white space because it's very stark. But um, I also don't want to make it gray and then make it not look, or make it a totally different color and make it not look like a piece of candy corn and identifiable as white on top. So, do I have white gel pen? I do have white gel pen, but not like a really thin one. It wouldn't be like I couldn't really fill in, but I could go in with highlights. What brand? Sakura, the jelly roll Sakura, the normal brand. I don't know if that's like the normal or like, you know, I don't even know if of other brands, that's just the ones I use. All right. So here we need orange. All right, let's go bright yellow. I think that was that the mustard? I'm going to get a piece of paper that I can scrap with. Ask me how. Ask me how I just left my slipper across the room. Like clearly I'm in the zone. I just left my slipper over on the other side of the room. Why would I do that? Why would we do that? All right, this was dark marigold. That is not the color we're going to use. I think it was mustard. I think that one's mustard. Yes, we're using mustard. And yeah, I think I'm going to go for the porcelain on top because I like how that faded out. I think that fades out enough to give you the feeling that that's going to be white without being stark white. And if you're not an artist and you're like, what the hell is she talking about? You'll see what I mean in the end. Now, where did that porcelain one go? That's the question. That's the question here. Bear with me, guys. I know I just had it. Where are you? Where are you? Come on. Come on. The good people are waiting. Let's find it. Gray. Seriously? It's always, you guys, it's always like this. I will do this even when I'm making art by myself. I will be like, oh, it's right. It's already here. I put it to the side because I was like, I'm probably going to use that one. And I already put it to the side. I wish you could see my face right now because I'm probably turning red. That's ridiculous. Such a silly girl. Do you use cardstock? This is Strathmore Bristol. I find it works really well with the alcohol ink markers. I just like the way they, yeah, it's a good paper. I like the way they blend on there. I don't do a lot of blending, but I like the way they pop and they look and they don't bleed too much. I've used watercolor paper and the bleed was like ridiculous. So I'm going to go in and color these in pretty simply. And then we're going to do outlining and some cute stuff. And as it comes together, you're going to see what's happening here, but I'll describe it to start with. So it's three little candy corns. And the one in the middle is yelling at you. And he's saying, well, maybe we don't like you either. And the one on the left is going, yeah, and shaking his little fist. And the one on the right is going, I still like you. And he's winking. And that's because many people hate candy corn. And I thought we could do a play on that. So I think I said yellow was on the bottom. So let's start with this one. We'll do yellow on the bottom. Ooh, that's nice. That's very nice. Oh, I'm enjoying this. Yep, that's great. Okay, there's that first layer. And you know what? I'm just going to go in to all of them and do that because the yellow is on the bottom for all of them. So we're going to do the little yellow, the yellow butt here, or the yellow bottom half here. Yes, lovely. Let me catch up with the chat real quick. What brand? Uniballs? Oh, Uniball. Yeah, I have never used. I don't think I've ever used a Uniball gel pen. Are they good? Game time decision. Do everything else. See how it looks. Use cardstock. What are you using to hold your camera over your head? Are you using your phone? I am using a 4K webcam, and there's an arm. So if you can see, I'm pointing to the base over here on the left. It clamps, so there's like a little like a screw mount thing that it's yeah, it kind of screws on there, so it clamps it, and then there's this arm, adjustable arm that comes oops, and I just hit it, that comes over the top of my head. So if I do this, you can see the top of my head. As I said before, my husband is a tarot reader, so he's also got a YouTube channel, and he is building a tarot reading business. And so he does readings online for people, and he needs to be able to show his face, but also overhead so that you can see the cards. And he's able to do that because he has a fancier phone than I do, so he can use his phone as his secondary camera. But we're working on getting a secondary camera that we can both use. All right, that's that. So this is the plight of many artists, or maybe just artists like me. But I'm gonna go in to the middle part and do the orange, and the little face that I drew here is gonna get covered up, and I hope I can still see it through there because I drew it really well, and I just want to trace it. I don't want to redraw it and mess it up. But this is just me because I don't trust myself. I'm giving you the real deal here, guys. I'll tell you the truth about me. I am a self-taught artist, and that doesn't mean that I'm not good. It just means that I didn't have the same, like somebody who went to school for art. I don't really have that same background. So, and I just notoriously don't trust myself a lot of the time. So, um, I try to set myself up to win at all times. And, you know, when I lose my sketch, so I get a little bit freaked out. Get a little bit freaked out about losing my sketch, but it's still in there. I'm seeing it underneath, especially when I have to draw live, which I don't ever have to do. So, but it's going to be more of a thing now. I'm enjoying going live. I'm so happy that you guys are here with me. I hope that you're having fun. It's a little bit, I don't know if it's more low key. I feel a little bit more low key. Maybe I'm just a little bit more relaxed this week. All right. There we go. We got the base of the bodies. And yep, as I look over again at the swatch, I think using this color, the porcelain, because you can barely see it now, you see? So that's really, I mean, if I hold it that way, you see it more, but I think that will read as a white once it like dries. Let me catch up with the chat. MacBook Pro that my mom used to have. Potato webcam on your laptop. Yeah. Yeah, I'm slowly but surely upgrading. I don't have a huge budget, so I'm trying to upgrade my tech as quickly as I can. But if you look at my earlier videos, I was just filming on my phone, and I don't have a 4K phone. And they were okay, but they're getting better because I've been using my 4K camera. I have a DJI Pocket 2, and which is like a teeny tiny little. It's like this big. It's the size of a Snickers bar, and it has a little gimbal head. And it's been a learning curve to learn how to use it. Wow, never thought about a webcam. I have an arm like that too. Yeah, I would look into it artfully. I'm sorry, I know I read your real name. I think is it's in your bio. I'm sorry, I forget. Please remind me. But there, it's really handy, this webcam, and it works really well, and I don't think it was very much money. My husband purchased it. I think he said it was like $40 or something. So it's not out of, a reasonable price range. It works really, really well. I have no complaints about it, like none whatsoever so far. I don't know the actual name of this one. I think it's called eMeet, EMEET, 4K Smart cam maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure. Um, what phone did I use to film with? I have a really I don't have a very fancy phone. It's a Moto G, like, 2022. It's not fancy at all, so it has no 4K capabilities. I don't even know. I think it's like a 1080 camera. So, the video wasn't awful, but it wasn't what it could be. Susan. Nice to meet you, Susan. Oh, thank you, Mason. Okay, so let me go continue with this 'cause we still got a little bit of a ways to go. So when I first put down this color, it's probably going to look like, oh crap, you just put a bunch of gray on top of this. And that's okay because as it dries, it looks a lot lighter, and I think it's okay. No, I think that reads. That's pretty good. And as it dries, it's going to look even better. One of the things that I've been learning on my art journey, and I've been on an art journey my entire life, but really more seriously the last 3 years, but really started to learn how to paint about 9 or 10 years ago. And one thing I've really learned is to trust the process and to not be so damn hard on myself. I had a lot of struggles in my youth with mental health and depression. And glad to say that I'm coming out on the other side of that, but it took a long, 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 long time. And we're talking a lifetime of just not thinking very highly of myself at all and having a very low self-esteem. So part of my art journey has been like to just keep telling yourself you're doing a good job, because once you believe it in your heart, it becomes true. You're the only one that has to believe it. No one else can believe it for you. I want to make a little pink heart here, and I want to see which pink I want. Sorry, that would be better for that, because the one that's saying I still like you has a little heart coming off of him. All right. So the bodies are in. Now we just gotta line and do the faces. Let me catch up with the things here, the chat. That's very relaxing, enjoying this. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear that, Lisa. I have ADHD, ASD, bipolar, and GAD. I thank you for sharing that with me, Marie. I was in my early 20s diagnosed with GAD, so generalized anxiety disorder, borderline personality disorder, and major depressive disorder. And I have been quite stable in the last 5 years. It's stable for longer than that, but really thriving and doing a lot better in the last 5 years or so. And if I can impart anything to anybody, it's that it's possible. I think that we get stuck in these spaces where we feel like we're never going to get better. And it's totally possible to get better. And I didn't think I was ever see a time where I felt happy to be here. And now I'm happy to face every day and to see what life brings me and to share it with wonderful people like you guys. So I'm pulling out my beautiful Faber-Castell F Pitt pen. I love these pens. I This is my go-to for lining. I don't know why I love it so much. I think it's just the perfect size. It hasn't run out on me yet. It never dries out. I'm really happy with it. Oh, you know what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take this black because this guy in the middle has an open mouth. So I want to fill in his mouth with this black rather than the Pitt pen just because it's going to work a bit better for me. Go a bit faster and fill in a bit nicer. And then we want to get a red. Which one was this one? Cerise. We want to get a red for the tongue. Maybe Morello Cherry? That's a dark. Ooh, that would be a dark tongue. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if he had a dark tongue, but that was dark. Too dark. It would have been, you wouldn't have been able to tell the difference between the darkness of the back of his mouth or the inside of his mouth and the darkness of his tongue would have just blended together. There we go. Now you can see that's a proper red there. Hopefully it's not too washed out. It looks a little bit bright in here. Well, I'm not going to worry about it today, but next time I'll worry about my lighting a little bit more. Sorry, looking at the chats again. The webcam beats the heck out of the canvas. Overhead holder. Yeah. This arm that we have was not expensive either. We get all the cheap stuff just to try it out at first. And then eventually, if we can upgrade to something better, we will. I have another arm on my table behind me, which is my actual painting table. This table is my computer table, but it's just easier to use the webcam over here. And for smaller projects like this. But we have another arm, and I don't remember how much that one cost, but it was a little bit more than this one. And this one is a little bit janky. It takes some noodling, and sometimes it doesn't stay where it should, but for the most part, I don't have a lot of complaints about it. Let me not let this dry out while I'm looking at this. ASD is autism, by the way. Yeah, I knew that, Marie, but thank you for clearing that up for everyone in the chat that might not know. And same here, thanks to med and therapy. I'm glad to hear that, Marie. It's so important to get to that place where we can feel good and to know that it's attainable because, man, all that shit, pardon my French, is so rough and it can feel like it's hell. It's true hell. And knowing that there's something on the other side of that is so vital. And if I can impart anything to anybody, it's that there is something to be worth being here for and life is worth living. Oh, good night, Marie. Take care. Thank you so much for coming. Okay, let's finish this up. So this guy he is yelling at us. He's saying, well, maybe we don't like you either because people don't really like candy corn. He's tired of hearing that. He's tired of hearing people say that they don't like him. And I think we can all relate to that. You'd be tired of hearing that as well. You'd be like, well, did you even get to know me? Did you even try me? I have tried candy corn. Here's the thing. I don't think I told you my stance on candy corn. I don't hate it. I don't abhor it. I'm not like, oh my God, put that in the garbage today. Like, I can't even look at it. But it would never, ever, ever be my choice. Like, if I went to a candy store or any store that sold candy and was going to get a treat, just like, I wouldn't go for I would always go for chocolate, and if I wasn't gonna go for chocolate, it would be something like Swedish Fish or Sour Patch Kids. It wouldn't be, um, candy corn ever. But that being said, I've enjoyed candy corn here and there in my life. It's actually can be quite tasty. I've had it, like, on top of things or sometimes, like, in a cookie, which is really good. Um, but I like it in small doses. And, I actually have a fun fact here. Actually, it's all buried. I think they were created somewhere in the end of the 1800s, and they were called chicken feed. They were called chicken feed, and then, in the 50s, they got really popular, and now they're super polarizing because they're just not as popular, and it's funny to me the things that, like, stick around, like, also things like circus peanuts, those, like, fluffy I don't even know what you call those because 'cause they're not even marshmallows. If they were marshmallows, I'd probably like them because I like marshmallows. But circus peanuts are really interesting too. I know somebody who likes them a lot, and I've never been into them. And and they're just these candies that have always been around, and I guess they were really popular back in the day when candy was new, I guess not new, I mean, candy's always been a thing, but, like, when mass production of candy became a thing, these things were easier to make, um, and accessible to everybody and cheaper to make, and everybody was into them before we had 4,000 candy bars to choose from and all different manners of gummy bears and lollipops and everything else. So, yeah, I'm just rambling about, candy corn here. All right, I'm gonna actually go upside down here because it's easier for me. I'm working on the outline of the body now of the little one. The little one on the side is actually telling us that he likes us. He's saying, I still like you, even if you don't like me, which is kind of sweet. Also, he's a little flirty. He's winking. So maybe he's trying to get our number. I don't know. Maybe maybe it's platonic. Maybe he's actually like, hey, baby. Who knows? These are the stories that you have to tell yourself when you're making art. These are the way, this is how you play when you make art. And this is the way we played when we were kids, when we drew in our coloring books and made drawings for people that we loved and just out of our own imaginations. And then somewhere along the way, we were told, be serious, settle down, stop doing things like that. And we stopped doing things like that. But you have to open up your heart to whimsy, you know, I always say, and, let yourself dream and play, and you'll be surprised what you can come up with. A lot of people, I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, I can't draw a straight line, I can't draw a stick figure. And I'm like, but when was the last time you really tried and weren't judgmental of yourself? When was the last time you really tried and didn't sit there and immediately say, this is awful, this is crap, this is shit, I hate this? Because it's all about the voice and the story that you tell yourself and the voice that you use when you talk to yourself. And it's really important, I think, that we talk to ourselves kind of like you would talk to a child sometimes. Hey, sweetie, you're doing a good job. You're doing a great job. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there. We're so hard on ourselves. We're like, damn it, how could I screw this up? When am I ever going to get it right? Well, when has talking to yourself like that ever helped you get it right? Not often for me, in my case, that's for sure. And I'm sure you guys can relate. I'm my own worst critic, you know? You're thinking to yourself all this awful stuff. Oh, this could happen. This could happen. What if we thought about the very best thing that could happen? I said this to my sister the other day. I want to be the type of person that believes that when I leave my house, I'm going to fall into a pile of puppies and money, not, something's going to fall on my head or a bird's going to poop on me or um, some tragedy is going to befall me. I want to believe that good things are coming. All right, let me catch up with the chat real quick because I've been babbling like a brook. This candy corn is personally fighting me, and I love Emily, he's angry with you that you won't try one piece. Same, Swedish fish are great. Yep, they are. They're delicious. Not carnivore friendly, but I do like them. They do make they're not carnivore friendly, but they do make a variety of candies that are like way lower sugar. I don't know if you've seen them. I forget what they're called, but I've seen they have like Swedish fish and they're like 3 grams of sugar or 5 grams of sugar, something like that. I think it's like more like three. Um, and I find that interesting. I think that's better, than the alternative, but obviously no sugar is probably best without getting preachy about that here. Everybody do you. I'm not preaching about what you should do. I just know what's right for me. I've been diabetic most of my adult life, type 2 diabetes, so I'm trying to reverse that. And so I'm pretty much trying to strictly stay very low to no sugar and very low carb. Um, my grandmother loved circus peanuts, yes, because it was as I was saying, it was an older people's candy. They were just that was it was a much bigger thing for them, I think, and now we have so much variety. I'm surprised that you can even still find circus peanuts in stores, you know? Um, Flirty corn, yes, he's a flirty corn. Lisa, we are programmed to be so hard on ourselves. I'm deprogramming, but it's hard. It is very hard, Lisa, to deprogram from being hard on ourselves. But it's important to remember that it's a daily practice. It's something that I have been putting into practice for my entire life, but really more so in a concentrated way in the past 3 to 5 years. And one thing that has been the overall theme of this lesson and this process is that it's every day. Every day you wake up and you decide to be kinder to yourself and be kinder to people around you at the same time. I think when we're mean to ourselves, we're also looking at other people like, why are they messed up? Why are they doing this, that, and the third? And it helps us be a little bit less judgmental when we're not judging ourselves that harshly and assuming that everyone is judging us like that. But I don't know. I don't want to get preachy, but I do like to chat about the things that I believe in. I do believe strongly about things. I think some of the things that I think about can be helpful to people. I hope. I my goal here is to really create a safe place and a place that encourages you to just stop and watch something pretty happening and just be still for a moment and just maybe not truly unplug because you're still plugged into your phone or your laptop or whatever, your computer, but to just know that you're accepted here and you can just be in sort of a zen kind of way, sort of meditative in a way. I don't really know what I'm saying, but I think you get me. All right, let's not fiddle too much. That's when we get into tricky areas when we start fiddling. All right, we're gonna do these little action lines, these little emotion lines on the side because he's yelling. He is yelling. So that tells us he's "Arr!" and this one's shaking his little fist. So we need little wiggledy lines next to his fist. I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of far away, but there you go. There we go. Sorry, it is quite far away. I wish I could zoom in more. I hope that you guys can see it well. I will get better at filming these, and then I will be able to zoom in more when I'm doing the drawing process. Oh, why did I put that away? I'm not done. I'm not done yet. I still have to put eye highlights in, and I think we're going to put a little bit of pink in the cheeks, but we'll see if we're going to do that with a colored pencil. That might not show up very well, or we're going to do it with marker. We'll see. Okay, let's go in and do the word bubbles. So yeah, I'm all about my safe place. What else is going on? So what's everybody's feelings on Halloween? Are you a big Halloween fan? I am, let me know in the chat. I am, um, I loved Halloween as a kid. I had awesome costumes. I had my great grandmother was in my life until I was 25. She lived to be 103, and she was a wonderful seamstress, and she could make any costume for me that I wanted, and she did. One year she made me Raggedy Ann, and then she made my baby sister, Emily, Raggedy Ann, and then Emily carried around my Raggedy Ann doll. So we were like, it was me carrying Emily, carrying the doll, and it was 3 Raggedy Anns, and it was really, really fun. And we had like the matching dresses, and my grandmother made that. My great grandmother Ita made that for me, for us. And so I had wonderful Halloweens, but I just am not as into it now. Maybe it's because I don't do candy anymore, and so I don't give out candy so that I don't have it in the house. Um, but I do love the fall. I live in northern Colorado now, and I've lived here for going on 11 years now. Actually, this is the 11th year. And originally from Massachusetts, born and raised in Boston. And so New England has a beautiful fall, um, beautiful leaf changing season. And we get great seasons here in Colorado. In fact, I feel like we get a very long um, spring and a long fall, and just beautiful weather throughout. And we do get the, excuse me, we do get the leaves changing. But what we don't have is apple picking. And that I miss so much. Um, I don't know if you're not from New England or from an area with a lot of great apple picking. It's just a beautiful experience every fall to go to an orchard and just pick a bunch of apples and get apple cider donuts and do a hayride and all of that good stuff. And I haven't gotten to do that for a long time because we don't have orchards here. We have very small orchards here, and they are by appointment, and they're usually booked out like a year in advance. Um, and they're just very, very small. So we have like corn mazes and like pumpkin patches here, but not the same vibe. So I'm just finishing the lettering here. And this guy is saying, well, maybe we don't like you either. And his little friend on the left is also angry, and he's shaking his angry fist, and he's like, "Yeah. Yeah, what he said." Like a good hype man, like a good backup, right? And then his other friends in the corner going, "I don't know, I like him. I like people that don't like me." And I will catch up with the chat in a minute because I realized I asked some questions. There we go. All right, let me catch up. Yeah, Emily, you're right. The outline does make it come together really fast. It's like every time I do it, I'm just like, holy crap, that's there it is. At first, it's kind of like I feel like with things like this, like little illustrative, cute things like this, the ugly stage is like pre-outline, although not everybody outlines, and that's fine. But for me, the ugly stage is pre-outline, and then I put the outline in, and I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. I see it now. Adorable candy corn friends and our family. How cute. Thank you, Mason. Emily says, I love giving out candy to kids. It's joyful, even the teenagers. It is really fun. I haven't gotten into it over the years. I'll just sit here and eat all the candy. um, Yay, long life grandmother, a blessing. Yes, my great grandmother had a very long life. She was Panamanian, so she was born in Panama in 1901. She saw the first ship go through the Panama Canal, and, there is some lore, some, tales that say that the fountain of youth is in Panama, and she actually had an aunt that also lived to be, like, something like 104 or 102, something like that, so, yeah, she was up there, and she lived well until the end. It wasn't up until the very end, the last few years, that she was able to take care of herself, so until she was about 100, she was still getting up and making her coffee every morning and watching her stories and, making her soup in the afternoon, and yeah, she was a great lady. Let's see, we decorate. Lisa says, "We decorate 3 blow ups out front and probably get about 30 to 40 kids. I look forward to Christmas, but still enjoy Halloween. My husband likes it." That's nice that you get that many kids. I feel like it's dying off a lot. We were in Grandma Barb's chat and she was talking about the trunk or treat and people just not feeling like trick or treating is safe enough anymore. And I feel like that's really sad. I think we're in a space now where we're just not trusting our neighbors and our neighborhoods. And I wish that that wasn't the case. And that, I think the lack of trick or treating is sort of a sign of that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's great that you still got that many kids. Sorry, just still catching up. The key is to give out candy you don't personally I like so many candies, Emily. Uh, and lower tier chocolate varieties. Yeah, you're right. That would be the key move. No Reese's allowed or I would eat them all. Yeah, I would eat all the Reese's. I could go for a pumpkin, Reese's pumpkin for sure. All right, I've caught up with the chat and I made I made a little goal today to not go over an hour, but I see that I'm well over an hour. I appreciate you guys so much for still being here. Um, Trying to reel this in anymore, but I feel like under 2 hours is probably a good spot to be in for a live, especially for the stuff that I'm doing. Um, but I appreciate you so much for sticking around. So we're gonna put a little highlight in this guy's eye, two little highlights there, and then this eye is open there. And then I'm gonna just add because they're shiny candies. So we're gonna just, I don't even know if you can see that because it's so bright. But what I'm doing is I'm adding a little highlight on the ends, like around the edges of the candy corn, so that this gives us the feeling that it's like shiny the way that a candy corn is. Yep, this really brings it together as well. I can never tell if I'm overdoing the highlights, but again, I think it's one of those things where it's like it's just a me thing. I don't really actually have a light source in this in this drawing. If I had a light source, like let's say there was a sun shining here, then you would say all of your highlights would be on this side, on this side, because the sun was coming from here, but we don't have an actual direct light source, so we're not gonna fret that too much. Okay, what else did I say? We were gonna try to do cheeks. I don't know if I should just like, what is this color? Maybe I should just go in with one of these. That's a good one. I want to do some pink cheeks. And this was a good color, and now I can't remember what color that was. Is it the deep pink? No, I think it is the deep pink. All right, we'll try this. We'll just go in. See, yeah, that's the problem. As I already did the orange, so it's coming out brown, but I'm hoping that when it dries, it looks less brown, but we're just going with it because it's telling us that they're blushing because they're excited. Um, it's not going to look pink. It can't look pink at this point because I already put the orange down. So it can't look truly pink. Maybe I can go in with a little bit of this pink pencil over it and kind of make a pink sheen on top. I think that's it. Let's see if I can make it a little less bright. Does that make it a little less bright if I do that? Did the light get a little less bright? I think it did. I think it did get a little less bright when I did that. Okay, that is the end of the drawing. Let me sign it. I should sign it. So for those of you who don't know, my signature is a little heart and a C. So I'll show it to you closer up so that you can actually see it. There you go. So that's my little signature. And there's our little candy corns. And this guy, he's my favorite. He's got your back. He's coming. But do you see how the what was that one called, porcelain, actually works really well as a white here? If it's on its own, it looks gray, right? But it makes it different and not as stark as the background white. Still reads as white against the yellow and the orange. So I think that was a good choice. I'm happy about that because I've been wanting a color like that. That's sort of a pale color that just sort of tints your paper, and doesn't, it doesn't leave such a thick, like vibrant color behind. So that's my quick little candy corn drawing. I want to thank you guys so much for coming to my unboxing and my swatching and being part of my second live. I want to catch up again with the chat real quick and make sure I didn't miss anything. And then I will say good night. Let's see, what did I miss? Thank you, Pania. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Kara. Thank you, Mason. I love you too, Kara. So thank you guys so much for coming. Hello, Wicked Girl. I don't think I got to say hi to you or I didn't see you, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for being part of Candi Hearts Art Live 2. I hope to do more of these, though I don't have anything in the works yet, but I will let you know and I'll put an alert up if I do more. And be sure to stay tuned for the live recap. I did a recap of my last live, which was about 3 minutes, so that nobody had to sit through the whole 2 hours again. But make sure you check out the recap, and I should have another video coming up on Wednesday if I can get it out. I'm in the middle of editing my Halloween video. So thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you so much. I love you all. Take care. Bye.